Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Mastermind Millennial channel. Hey, my name's EJ. Today we're going to talk about what's not in the news. What else is new, right? But no, I had to get smart because I wasn't too sure about this. But I did a lot of research. I did some research. But anyway, digress. So, Medicare fraud is what I'm talking about. You got Bernie Sanders preaching about Medicare. Oh, it's the best thing. We all need it. It's going to save the world and America. Really? Okay, so here we are. It's another election cycle, and we have a 80-year-old socialist who's going to save us in all of our Medicare woes, or healthcare woes. Alright, but let's talk about where we are with healthcare right now, and then we'll get into the details, alright? So the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, it was so great, that is until 4.7 million Americans were kicked off their insurance plans, and forced by the Supreme Court to find insurance through the government. Oh, by the way, you were penalized if you did not have a qualifying insurance. Yeah, thank you. So under Obamacare, Americans not enrolled in a qualifying health insurance plan, as identified by the federal government, had to pay $695 per adult, or 2.5% of the household income, whichever one is higher. So according to IRS tax data, from about 2015, which is the most recent numbers we have, more than 6.6 million filers were required to pay the Obamacare penalty. What they had to pay out resulted in about $3 billion for not being enrolled. That's the penalty that Americans paid. $3 billion for not being enrolled in a health care insurance plan. Not even the funny thing. One thing that's very interesting is that lower income and working class Americans were hit the hardest by the fine. The adjusted gross income for about 36% of the 6.6 million people that had to pay out was $10,000 to $25,000. That is not a lot of money. See, I used to have a great plan, and now my plan is more expensive, and it sucks. Thank you, Obama. You sure know how to keep a promise, you know. I distinctly remember him saying, not much is going to change. You don't have to drop your doctor. You get to go to the same doctor. Really? Now some of the naysayers say, well, he never said that. He absolutely said that. He even said himself he didn't say that. Well, thank you, PolitiFact, because he said it 43 times. Anyway, whatever. Here comes Trump and the Republicans, who all but killed Obamacare by revoking the penalty imposed on people who were not enrolled in a quote-unquote qualifying health insurance plan. See, the key word to this that maybe people are more familiar with is the individual mandate. She gone. Thank you. So what does this mean? Well, the Affordable Care Act is still in effect. And if you can stomach, if you can afford it, by all means, go through the government vending whatever and try it. But I tell you what, my wife's job group policy is a lot cheaper for a family of 3 than anything in that exchange that's worth a damn. I'm just sorry. These group policies in these companies are cheaper. They're better, you know, at least in my opinion. Do they change from time to time? Yeah. Do benefits change from time to time? Yeah. But guess what? I would have a choice. Okay, I would have a choice. I'm not understanding this logic. Okay? Bernie wants to preach to us that if we put everybody into Medicare, guess what? Your choices would be better. Oh, that's after you get rid of private insurance? So you mean after you cancel my current insurance, I get more options? Wow. Thank you, Bernie, bro. That's just amazing. I can't wait. Just like Obama, I can't wait till this thing falls apart. Give me a break. It doesn't sound great. It sounds bad. Alright? Look, if private insurance is better than what the government is willing to pay for, and I can afford it, I want it. Why? Because the government is horrible at spending money. They're not very efficient. Now, I would really appreciate it if Bernie would show me what it looks like to take care of people rather than preach to me how I should take care of people. If he was a doctor and saving lives and healing people, you know what? He's showing me what it takes to take care of people. All he's doing is talking about what he thinks is the best option. You can't point to an option. You can't say this works. People want to talk about places in Europe or even Canada. Government-run healthcare in Canada is not that great. A lot of times the government is not willing to pay for some of people's issues. You know what they do? They come right across the border and get it done here in America through private insurance. Look, my biggest issue is that the government is already so bad in managing money. Why the hell would Americans want to give them more? I don't know if many people know this, but Medicare is currently bleeding over $50 billion in fraud. That's right, billions of dollars missing from Medicare. You don't believe me? Ask the GAO. Okay, Medicare has been listed on its high-risk list for 28 years. 28 years! The GAO has been calling them out. And it's just like, oh, don't say nothing. We're working on it. Yeah, right. The media won't bring this up. Look it up for yourself. Look it up for yourself. Alright, less than 2 weeks ago, the Department of Justice had a press release on a South Florida healthcare facility owner who was convicted for their role in the largest healthcare fraud scheme ever charged by the Department of Justice, involving $1.3 billion in fraudulent claims. Now, kudos to the DOJ. But what this also tells us that fraud is is so apparent. It's bad that when they catch up to these people, the amount of money that's being fraudulently spent is through the roof. $1.3 billion? Someone defrauded the government? That's horrible. That's horrible. Look, Medicare is expensive, okay? It's poorly run, susceptible to fraud, and it's a government program. For the last 28 years, high risk by the GAO. All right. Why? So why did the GAO say it's high risk? It says because of the size and complexity of the program and its susceptibility to fraud, waste, and abuse. Those are the words of the GAO. All right. Now Bernie suggests we put all Americans into it. Really? No, thank you. A program that currently has 60 million Americans enrolled costs $702 billion the last time they counted. That was in 2017. Okay? And that same FY 2017, improper payments for Medicare were estimated at $52 billion. Alright, so Medicare is funded primarily by general revenues, which is 41%, payroll taxes, about 37%, and beneficiary premiums, which is about 14%. If Bernie gets his way, okay, and Congress actually passes this ridiculous idea, American taxes will go through the roof. I don't need nor do I want the government to tell me how to spend my money. They are the worst example of smart spending. Medicare also faces a significant risk with improper payments. Payments that either were made in an incorrect amount or should not have been made at all, which reached an estimated $48 billion in FY 2018. Now that's according to a March 2019 GAO report on high-risk agencies. The outlook is not good. So, look, if you want more facts, one more thing. The Congressional Budget Office has projected and has analyzed that this fund will be depleted by 2026. That is 7 years from now. That is not a long-term time away. Bernie wants us to all go into a program that currently is going to fail by 2026. No one is talking about this. Shame on Fox News for not hitting Bernie harder. I don't know what these people do, but they should have grilled him on the fraud that is riddled through Medicare. So what do you think? I suggest do your research, okay? The idea sounds good on the surface, but when you get to pull back the layers, it is a total mess. Medicare, that is. Why would we put the rest of Americans into a mess? This is bad policy. This is a no-go, and it's a turd that's being polished. I don't know why people love Bernie. He is a card-carrying socialist that wants to take my money and do whatever he thinks is great. Wants to experiment on the American public. I say hell to the no. Ain't happening. What do you think? Hey, do the research. Look at the description and get all of your sources from me. Find your own sources, but do your own research and be smart on the topic.